Okay, so I will read and then someone can read. Morning Dhamma, Tabawa Dhamma Nursing Home, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, February 16, 2023. Today is the second day of the 3-day meditation retreat at the Tabawa Dhamma Nursing Home, Vietnam. We will all meditate together for about 45 minutes, and there will be sharing experience and answering questions. We should try to stop doing something intentionally. As human beings, it is easy to do something, to say and think about something. Now we'll try to stop what we do, what we say, and what we think about something or someone. Doing something or not doing something are to do or not to do only, not to reject or attach. We should stop whatever we do. Each of our physical and verbal actions needs to stop. Doing or not doing, saying or not saying, thinking or not thinking, all these will be difficult, but we should continue. Both difficulty and easiness are impermanent. After difficulties, there will be easiness. After easiness, there will be difficulties. Nothing is permanent. We may feel it is difficult to practice. We may feel it is easy to practice. Both feelings are impermanent. It is concerned only with us. We are different from each other. What we think is difficult may be easy for the others. What we feel is easy may be difficult for others. So maybe someone else can read this part.
Read the next paragraph or read again.
You can just read this part again, maybe.
Let me try.
Thanks.
Today is the second day of the 3-day meditation retreat at the Tabawa Dhamma Nursing Home, Vietnam. We all will meditate together for about 45 minutes, and there will be sharing experiences and answer questions. We should try to stop doing something internationally. As human beings, it's easy to do something, to say and think about something. Now we try to stop what we do, what we say, and what we think about something or someone. Doing something or not doing something, to do or not to do only, not to reject or attack. We should stop whatever we do. Each of our physical and verbal actions needs to stop. Doing or not doing, saying or not saying, thinking or not thinking, on these will be difficult, but we should continue both difficulty and easiness, and it's permanent. After difficult, there will be easiness. After easiness, there will be difficulty. Nothing is permanent. Okay.
Great, thank you. So how about the meaning for this part? Is it clear, all the words, the meaning of the words? This is quite common way that Sayadaw is introducing the meditation practice for the group meditation. So he often mentions that we need to stop all our action. So in meditation, we are not moving our body or speaking, doing verbal action, and we are not thinking intentionally or on purpose. Thoughts may come into our mind, but when we realize we're thinking, we stop it and try to come back to present. So Seattle says we should try to stop doing something intentionally. That as human beings, it's easy to do something, to say something, to speak, and to think about something. So this is what we are normally always doing throughout our days. Usually we are always doing something, either physically with our body or verbally speaking, or we are doing mental action by thinking. So usually we are always doing some kind of action. So in meditation, we are going against this normal flow of action that we are usually always doing. So that's why it's like opposite of what we are normally doing. So Seattle points out that each of our actions needs to stop, because we are able, obviously we are able to be doing something. So we also need to be able to stop doing. And he says, doing something or not doing something are to do only or not to do only, not to reject or attach. So we don't need to think that I need to do something or not do something, and maybe cause some stress in ourselves. We can just do it. Yeah, so it may be difficult, Sarah said. Both difficulty and easiness are impermanent. I like here that he reminds us like that, because, in the midst of difficulty or when we are facing difficulty, we may reject it or get upset. This is very difficult. We may dislike this difficulty, because we don't remember. Difficulty is impermanent. So following difficulty, there's always easiness, because difficulty doesn't last forever. And he also reminds us, sometimes it will be difficult to practice. Sometimes we will feel that it's easy to practice. And both of these feelings are impermanent. And we won't necessarily have the same experiences as the other people doing the meditation. We may feel that it's easy and another person may be having difficulty, or the opposite. We may be having a lot of difficulty, and for someone else it may be easy. So I will read the next section. Yeah. We should understand that both our body and mind are changing and decaying at all times. Whatever appears in our body and mind will also be changing and decaying every time, every moment. Both changing and decaying are just impermanent nature. There is not something or someone, nothing or no one is changing or decaying. I'm not teaching about something or someone. I'm just teaching about the impermanent nature of changing and decaying. You should also emphasize the impermanent nature of changing and decaying. This is the practice for detaching from something and someone. If we see from the side of living beings, we are different from others. If we see from the side of impermanent nature, we are all the same. We are all the same impermanent nature of changing and decaying. This concept is not to attach to in the mind, but to use only. We should try to do all kinds of good deeds. Maybe someone else can read this part. Or
Okay.
is there anyone want to read?
Okay. We should understand that both our body and mind are changing and decaying at all times. Whatever appears in our body and mind will also be changing and decaying every time, every moment. Both changing and decaying are just impermanent nature. There is not something or someone, nothing or no one is changing or decaying. I'm not teaching about something or someone. I am just teaching about the impermanent nature of changing and decaying. You should also emphasize the impermanent nature of changing and decaying. This is the practice for detaching from something and someone. If we see from the side of living beings, we are different from others. If we see from the side of impermanent nature, we are all the same. We are all the same impermanent nature of changing and decaying. This concept is not to attach to in the mind, but to use only. We should try to do all kinds of good deeds.
Great, thank you. So here Sayadaw is reminding us about the ultimate truth that is happening every moment. So we see our body as solid, as something. We see all the material as being solid and mostly unchanging, moment to moment. But Sayadaw is reminding us of the truth. So we're not seeing it clearly in its ultimate nature. Like one example that we could understand clearly is maybe a light bulb. Like a light bulb in English, I don't know if you use the same word in Vietnamese, but we say like the normal light bulb is 60 hertz. That means the light bulb is actually coming on and off 60 times in a second. But this is too fast for our eyes to see. So we only see that the light bulb is on. So from this example, we can understand that we are not seeing the reality, or we're not seeing the truth of that light bulb or what is really happening. So in the same way with our bodies and with the material, in fact, it's appearing and disappearing in this way, changing and decaying every time, every moment. So in this way, you know, if every moment it is changing or different than the last moment, then we cannot really say that it's something or someone the way that we wrongly perceive it to be. In fact, if it's new every time, then we can't really call it something or someone, because something or someone is continuing through time or permanent, at least permanent for some time. So Sayadaw reminds us that he's teaching about the impermanent nature of changing and decaying. So this impermanent nature also is permanently happening or always going on. So normally we see from the side of living beings, or we see with our wrong view of things. And in that way, we will see that we're different from each other. But Sayadaw is pointing out this common reality of all of us, that we are all this impermanent nature of appearing and disappearing, or changing and decaying. So this concept is not to attach to in the mind, but to use only. So we don't need to hold on to this idea. We can just use it, just be aware and understand it, and apply it to our understanding. So let's read the next part. Not only for someone or something, but also for nothing and no one. Doing good deeds for someone or something is easier than doing good deeds for no one or nothing, but we should try to do good deeds for both sides. The power of someone or something has limit. The power of not someone or something has no limit. Dhamma is natural law. There is no limit in natural law. Knowing about Dhamma or natural law will cause enlightenment as a Buddha. Buddha has limit. Dhamma has no limit. Knowing about Dhamma or natural law can allow us to enlighten as a Buddha. Therefore, there are endless Buddhas among the endless living beings. Therefore, Buddha has limit. Dhamma has no limit. Could someone else read that part? So it's a a little bit hard to understand, maybe. That Seattle says doing good deeds is not only for someone or something, but also for nothing and no one. Your microphone is muted.
Can I have a question?
Yes, great.
In the first paragraph, doing good deeds for someone or something is easier than doing good deeds for no one or not things.
Yes.
I cannot understand doing good deeds for no one or nothing. So, no
Yeah.
one. What is it? What does Sayadaw means?
Well, like in the previous part, he's reminding us that we are actually not something, and we are not someone, and the other material is not something really. So even though we may think we are doing good deeds for something or someone, in fact, there's no one and nothing. So he's just reminding us that we need to be remembering like this or thinking like this, because this is the reality of the situation. But in our mind, we will think we are doing good deeds for someone and for something. That's why it's easier, because we have so many concepts in our mind about what is happening and what we want, what the other person wants, this kind of thing. So it's easier for us to think like this. But the ultimate truth or reality is that doing good deeds is for no one and nothing. But yes, indeed, it is difficult to understand or to keep in mind. Then he says, we should try to do good deeds for both sides. It means for something and someone, and for no one and nothing, both. So maybe we cannot forget the created truth or our created ideas about someone and something, but at the same time, we need to know the truth about it. The power of someone or something has limit. The power of not someone or something has no limit. Dhamma is natural law. There is no limit in natural law. I think because this impermanent nature is forever going on. Someone will pass away. The idea of someone. I've heard of an example like a person is like a clay pot. So we can say the body is like the clay pot, and our sense of self or our belief in a self is like the air inside the pot. So actually there's no difference from the air inside the pot to the air outside the pot. So when the clay pot is shattered or broken, like our body, when our body dies, that material just continues on its process of appearing and disappearing. And also that air that was never separate in the beginning also goes on in the same way. So it's just an example, but maybe it can help with this idea. that Dhamma has no limit, something or someone has limit. So if we know about this reality or natural law, then we have the chance to enlighten as Buddha. Therefore, there are endless Buddhas among the living beings. Therefore, Buddha has limit, Dhamma has no limit. Maybe we can read the next part. The creator is natural law, not Buddha. The natural law is more powerful than Buddha and Sangha. Natural law is permanent. Buddha and Sangha are impermanent. If we don't know the natural law, we cannot be enlightened. Relying on something or someone is not complete. Relying on both Buddha and Sangha are not complete. Relying on Dhamma is complete. Even Buddha guides us to rely on Dhamma. Someone and something will not last for the long term. Only Dhamma or natural law will last forever. By relying on someone or something, what we can do and understand has limit. By relying on Dhamma or natural law, what we can do and understand has no limit. If there is someone or something in the mind, we cannot accept nothing or no one in the mind. That's why we should try to detach something or someone from the mind. In this way, we'll be able to accept nothing or no one in the mind. Something or someone, nothing or no one, all these are not to reject or attach, but to use only. We will stop meditation now. We will continue sharing experiences and answering questions. So can someone read this section?
This like married.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. The creator is natural law, not Buddha. The natural law is more powerful than Buddha and Sangha. Natural law is permanent. Buddha and Sangha are impermanent. If we don't know the natural law, we cannot be enlightened. Relying on something or someone is not complete. Relying on both Buddha and Sangha are not complete. Relying on Dhamma is complete. Even Buddha guides us to rely on Dhamma. Someone and something will not last for the long term. Only Dhamma or natural law will last forever. By relying on someone or something, what we can do and understand has limit. By relying on Dhamma or natural law, what we can do and understand has no limit. If there is someone or something in the mind, we cannot accept nothing or no one in the mind. That's why we should try to detect something or someone from the mind. In this way, we'll be able to accept nothing or no one in the mind. Something or someone, something, no thing or no one, all these are not to reject or attack, but to use only. We will stop meditation now. We will continue sharing experiences and answering questions.
Thank you.
Lisa Lei, through your doing good this and meditation, have you ever really realized no one or nothing? That means completely accept that there's no one and or nothing.
I can completely accept it. I mean, I can see how this is true or real. But I think this is for me the intellectual understanding, or understanding by theory, not by the real knowing. Like maybe you see someone riding a bicycle, so you know, you can imagine what it's like, but until you actually ride the bicycle yourself, you don't really know what it's like, or how to do it. So maybe something like that is comparable to how I can understand this. Because I can see some things coming into my mind, and I didn't invite them. I didn't call them to come, but they appear there according to causes and conditions. So I can see the reality of this in this way. This is this thinking is not me. So who I think of as someone is not real. That kind of understanding I can use. But I don't know. I continue to, I mean, most of the time I forgot. You know, I don't think like this. But you know, I can see I didn't create my mind and put them together myself. This body, the appearance of this body, I have no idea how it happened, or why, or I had nothing to do with it. So I can accept in a similar way that the mind is the same. I don't know where this idea of myself came from, or from what it's arising. So if I can think in sense, it makes sense that it's just attachment. Attachment really that makes something and someone appear. But this is a very good question that you ask. And I also want to ask the other monks and nuns like this about this question. But I feel very sure that Sayadaw is speaking about this from his real knowing or understanding. I don't think that he could speak like this about it from, say, for example, like from my level of understanding or knowing, the way that Sayadaw can explain. I have the faith or trust that Sayadaw really knows and really sees it. So I use his understanding to apply to my experience. And then I can start to see, like, I'm trying to think of an example for this, like if you see some kind of art or painting, and you see one shape or scene in the painting, and then someone else comes and shows you, like, oh no, actually it's like this, or can you see it like that? And then maybe you can start to see it in another way. It's not really the example I want to use, but something like that. So let's look at the next paragraph.
Maybe a few minutes.
Okay.
We will transfer to Q&A.
Yeah. Maybe in the next section. Okay.
Okay, this is the Q&A.
Okay, thank you. So the question is, how can we differentiate between someone and not someone? How to identify, how to know the difference between these two concepts? I thought that this is a strange question, but interesting. Sayadaw says, we can accept ourselves as someone. We must practice to accept ourselves as no one. We can accept non-living things as something. We should try to accept all non-living beings as nothing. This concept is concerned only with the mind, only with wisdom. If we don't practice, we will not have this side of wisdom. We are human beings. Human beings are more intelligent than the other living beings. We can get the wisdom or enlightenment that knows about the truth of not something, not someone. Besides, we can get the ability of using only without rejecting or attaching. Concerned with someone or something, ignorance and attachment is wrong. Using with mindfulness and detachment is right. So this is kind of like what I was saying just now. Um, we can accept ourselves as someone. Like automatically we accept ourselves as someone because it's what appears to be true. So Sayadaw's reminding us that we need to practice to accept ourselves as no one. So when we meditate and stop all our action, physical, verbal, and mental action, then we can see something, there's still something going on or something happening that is not, we are not doing. By meditation practice, we need to accept ourselves as no one. And also accepting the non-living beings as nothing. I think most people have heard from the quantum physics that all the material, in fact, is mostly empty space, which doesn't make sense to our brain or to our the way that we experience the things. So we just need to accept. We just need to use the idea that the non-living beings are actually nothing. That the material is all appearing and disappearing, but we cannot perceive it or see it. So this concept is concerned only with the mind, only with wisdom. If we don't practice, we will not have this side of wisdom. We are human beings. Human beings are more intelligent than the other living beings. We can get the wisdom or enlightenment that knows about the truth of not something, not someone. So the other living beings are not able to meditate, not able to see this kind of truth, because they are not able to detach from their experience. They are fully attached to their life and what they're doing, so they have no way to just observe. But because we have this power of detachment from our experience, then that's why we are able to get the enlightenment that knows about the truth of not something and not someone. Besides, we can get the ability of using only without rejecting or attaching. So this is like kind of like free free floating in our experience, not not grasping, not holding on with stress to whatever we think or do. But just using things only. Using our body, using our mind, but not taking it seriously. Remembering, so may taking it seriously. Someone or not something, using with ignorance and attachment is wrong. So we can say, going through life without this right understanding is wrong or mistaken. We should use the things and use our life with the right understanding, that the right understanding that we've been talking about, that it's all changing and decaying. It's not really something or someone as it appears to be. And then we know that there's nothing to attach to. And then using with mindfulness and detachment like this is right. It's right in the sense that it's correct according to the truth. Like, for example, if we went to the movies and we go to see a movie and we become so attached to the story in the movie and to the characters, we start to think that this is real, and we become happy or sad, and we cannot, if we cannot realize this is just a movie, then we can say this is wrong, right? We would be doing something wrong if we went to the movies and became so attached and so into it like that. It would be wrong. So it would make trouble for us, make problems to our life. So we can look at it in this way, that's why it's right to use detachment. There's really just the projector or the light passing through, and the screen. It's just being projected on the screen. So in our life also we should keep in mind the reality behind what we're seeing, even though we cannot really see, but can, which will cause us problems in life. So let's read the next part. The second question. Okay. During my practice of meditation, there are a lot of emotions appearing, both positive and negative. Why is this? A lot of past experiences appear, such as the mistakes I've made or the situations in which I've been hurt. These are more dominant than the emotions of joy or happiness. How should I practice so that the good emotions can increase and the bad emotions can decrease? We must be able to do good deeds. Besides, we should try to detach from our desire. We should try to reduce what we want or what we don't want. We should try to accept whatever good or bad happens in our body and mind. We should try to accept it as it is. We should not make a judgment. We should not occupy the experience as ours, as something, as that who meditate to remember the bad things that happened in the past. It is because of attachment. Whatever happened in the past already finished, but the attachment still remains in the mind. That is not good. We should clean that experience from the mind. The more we do good deeds, the more we will know what is remaining or attached in the mind. The more we know about the truth of our own attachment, there will be less attachment. Because of not knowing the truth about our own ignorance and attachment, the mind is not healthy and wealthy. Read this part. Starting with the question. I thought this is quite a good question. Because I identify with this question a lot. It does seem like a lot of negativity appears more than the joyful emotions. And then I also really appreciate Sero's answer, that we shouldn't make a judgment. We should just remember not to occupy the experience as ours, as something, as that is mine. So by not making a judgment and by not occupying the experience or just not attaching to the experience, just sitting with awareness and letting the experience happen and observing it, knowing it, feeling it, but not taking it as mind with this detachment practice. That's how we should see it, or how we should deal with it and approach it. We should try to accept it as it is. And he reminds us that this is what is happening for most of the people who meditate. We often are remembering the bad things that happened in the past because of attachment. And I think actually, as human beings, our brains and nervous system they are designed to remember and recall and bring to mind more easily the bad things, the scary things, for our survival, so that we can avoid them in future. Maybe it has some kind of evolutionary element to it, that we are inclined to remember the bad things because of the strong attachment. Whatever happened in the past is already finished, but the attachment still remains in the mind. That is not good. We should clean that experience from the mind. And the more we do good deeds, the more we will know what is remaining or attached in the mind. This is very nice idea for me. Memories that might come up in my mind sometime when sometimes the most I can do is just to see that this is happening, that that I'm still attached to this thing that happened, maybe however long ago. Still, when I think of it, has some feeling. So sometimes I cannot do anything about it. I can only just realize, oh, it's still there. And I'm still attached. I don't know how to let go, but being aware of it is very important. If we have a chance to let go of it. And we might be disturbed by it or dislike it. So we need to be aware of that also. Yeah, and this is the way, the more we know about the truth of our own attachment, there will be less attachment. So I can also see that with the time, the feeling will reduce just naturally by time sometimes. So with this understanding, I can be less worried or have less stress that that this feeling is still there, because I can see it. I can see it decreasing. Because of not knowing the truth about our own ignorance and attachment, the mind is not healthy and wealthy. From practicing mindfulness and detachment, we will know more and more our own ignorance and attachment. Knowing about our own ignorance and attachment is right understanding. Because of not knowing about the truth of our own ignorance and attachment, the mind we are using is not clean, not healthy, not very powerful. Not knowing the truth about ignorance and attachment is the real enemy or problem of all living beings. So that's kind of what we were talking about yesterday, about ignorance, being even more dangerous than the anger, because it can go on and we can not even know about it. So like our ignorance even of believing in something and someone, as basic, we fully believe it. So from the very start, we're starting with ignorance, and then the ignorance just gets layered on more and more deeply. So it's very powerful, wonderful, beneficial to stop, like Sayadaw says in the beginning of this meditation instruction, just stopping all our action, and then we can deconstruct or stop creating the ignorance and start to clear it out, layer by layer. We can go through these things that we hold in our mind that are bothering us, things that happened and memories, and then as we let them go, we can sort it out and go through the layers until we reach this most basic layer about believing in something and someone. This is like the foundation of our ignorance. And from there, we increase it always, until we can stop and then start to reduce it by applying again and again the right understanding to our experience. So that's the end of the writing that I shared today. I can share another one, or we can just discuss together.
Can I read, because I want to read?
Oh, great. Yes, please.
Okay, despite My internet is not stable, but I hope it is good when I reading. During my practice of meditation,
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
there are a lot of emotion appearing, both positive and negative. Why is it a lot of past experience appear, such as the mistake I have made or the situation in which I have been hurt? They are more dominant than the emotions of joy or happiness. How should I practice so that the good emotions can increase and the bad emotions can decrease? This is the answer of Sayadaw. We must be able to do this. Besides, we should try to detach from our desire. We should try to reduce what we want or what we don't want. We should try to accept whatever good or bad happens in our body and mind. We should try to accept it as it is. We should not make a judgment. We should not occupy the experience as ours, as something as that is my. It is natural for most people who meditate to remember the bad things that happened in the past. It is because of attachment. Whatever happened in the past already finished, but the attachment still remains in the mind. That is not good. We should clean that experience from the mind. The more we do this, the more we will know what is remaining or attached in the mind. The more we know about the truth of our own attachment, there will be less attachment because of not knowing the truth about our own ignorance and attachment. The mind is not healthy and wealthy. From practicing mindfulness and detachment, we will know more and more our own ignorance and attachment, and then there will be less and less ignorance and attachment. Knowing about our own ignorance and attachment is right understanding. Because of not knowing about the truth of our ignorance and attachment, the mind we are using is not clean, not healthy, not very powerful. Not knowing the truth about ignorance and attachment is the real enemy or problem of all living beings. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else want to read?
May I?
Yes, please. But it's your microphone is muted.
Okay. During my practice of meditation, there are a lot of emotion appearing, both positive and negative. Why is this? A lot of past experience appears, such as the mistake I made or the situation in which I've been hurt. They are more dominant than the emotion of joy or happiness. How should I practice so that the good emotion can increase and the bad emotion can decrease? We must be able to do good deeds. Besides, we should try to detect from our desire. We should try to reduce what we want or what we don't want. We should try to accept whatever good or bad happen in our body and mind. We should try to accept it. We should try to accept it as it is. We should not make a judgment. We should not occupy the experience as our, as something as that in mind. It's nature of most people who meditate to remember the bad things that happened in the past because of attachment. Whatever happened in the past already finished, but the attachment thing remains in the mind. That is not good. We should clean that experience from the mind. The more we do good deeds, the more we know what is the remain or attack in the mind. The more we know about the truth of our own attachment, there will be less attachment. Because of not knowing the truth about our own ignorance and attachment, the mind is not healthy and wealthy. From practicing mindfulness and detachment, we know more and more about our own ignorance and attachment, and then there will be less and less ignorance and attachment. Knowing about our own ignorance and attachment in right understanding. Because of not knowing about the truth of our own ignorance and attachment, the mind we are using is not clean, not healthy, not very powerful. Not knowing the truth about ignorance and attachment, the real enemy of our problem of all living being.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's a very powerful meaning. So it's good that we hear it many times. Good to hear again. Oftentimes, Sayadaw is saying these kinds of things many times with similar words, but it is still helpful to hear repeated.
Sayala,
Yes.
yes, I have one question.
Okay, great.
Yes, when I see, I see and I hear from you about this question. Second question. I think when we practice meditation, we can feel and we can see the happen in the past.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree about that. And we can feel some bad emotion in the past.
Yes.
I have one question. Why the Sayadaw talk about the more we do good deeds, more and more do good deeds? The question is here, the relationship. I want to know about the relationship. So do good deeds and the clean and with cleaning in my mind.
Yes.
Yes.
That is.
Please explain to me.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes, that is a great question. It is what Sayadaw is explaining about regularly, and it is not easy to explain actually with words. It is one of those things that is very helpful to understand by experience, by practice. So that's why Sayadaw is always telling the people to try and do good deeds more and more, so that they will really understand this effect. Because we can hear, the relationship is not really clear to us. We can hear this idea, if we do good deeds more and more, this will be cleaning our mind, helping us to get rid of the negativity that appears in our meditation. But how does it work? How can this happen? And how are good deeds really solving the problem? And I think from my experience, one thing I can say about it is that when we are doing good deeds, our mind becomes uplifted, happy. We can see the effect, the good effect that we are having on the other people who we are helping. So our mind is automatically feeling better, and we are coming out of our normal mental habits, all the ways. Most of the time we are spending our time in the normal ways, what we normally do. So when we are doing good deeds, we're stepping out of that normal sequence or flow of our regular mind. So maybe we have some habits, some mental habits of negativity or thinking things in a certain way. And then when we're doing good deeds, we're changing our mind in the positive way, because we become happy to see the good effect, automatically making our minds happy. So it's also from that happy place, the happy mind that we can feel from doing good deeds, then the bad things that we were thinking, or the bad things that we were normally thinking about or remembering, the past bad things, they feel like more far away and less significant, less important. Our mind is suddenly full of the positive feelings, and we feel good about ourselves. So we can detach from the negative things more, I think, because they become like far away. And this can come with a new kind of attachment, actually, because then we may think, we may have the feeling like, oh wow, I'm a good person, I'm doing good things, and I'm not so bad, I'm good. So this feeling it's a better feeling, as long as we don't become too attached to that idea also, because we should keep in mind there's no something or someone. So we can just see this cause and effect happening. When I do good deeds, the mind is improved, the mind feels happy, I feel better about myself. We can just see the way that this is working without attachment. So just doing only and experiencing only. Like because I'm doing this class in the morning, then the rest of my day, I feel like I did something positive, I did something good, and my mind is uplifted. So when the bad things come into my mind that maybe that I did before, it doesn't have the same impact. And there are just so many unforeseen, unexpected results from doing good deeds. We cannot really imagine until we are doing it, all the benefits that are coming. Does that make sense, or does that answer something for you?
I agree with you. When we do more and more goodies, we feel
Yes.
better than before.
Yeah.
Yes. We can feel many benefits.
Yes.
Yes. But some reason we can we need to know more about the reason why we've been hurt. The real reason why been hurt. Yes, when we know about the real reason, we can solve the problem. Yes. We can know exactly the way to solve. Yes.
If we know the reason.
The reason. So maybe I will practice do Buddhist more and more. I feel the magic the magic of the Buddhist.
Oh, wonderful. It is amazing, actually.
I think there are many steps. Many steps when we do Buddhist. We have we will know about the reason. Yes.
We will know about the reason that we felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe yes. I think that's
Yeah. There will be so many benefits.
because I think the benefits is healing ways.
Right.
Yes.
Also, if we are
Yes.
doing more good deeds, it will be less likely, or there will be less chance for the negative things or bad things to happen to us in the future. Because maybe we will be dealing with different kinds of people, or our mood will be different, and so many things will be different. So the future will be also different. So when so many factors are improving, then we may be able to see the past in a different way. But these things are difficult to explain with words. Zero always says that. But I really appreciate that question, because that's like what Zero is trying to explain all the time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So we can stop here if there's no other question.
No, I don't have